you should. I'm a mark on the carpet in a permanent rut. Dead to the system and the protocol of touch. Haven't expected far too much. The hope was a weapon, a clinical blade to make sure the destruction was properly made. I sit in the vacancy, quiet and still, a signature missing from a final will. square, with the suit of the neighborhood still thick in my hair, to find a sophisticated version of a violent old ghost in a man who claimed to love my fragility the most. He molded my spirit like a piece of wet clay, while the smudging natura took the contours away. He appreciated the aesthetic of the girl who was broke, in the suffocating rhythm of the words that he spoke. The affecting active furnace, flaming truth, burning through the lives of my stolen youth. I see the oppression in the tilt of his head, in the clinical way that the rescuers fed. He never wanted a woman, he wanted a frame to house the cold power of his own gilded name. I'm leaving the wreckage for the city I know, to the hard, cynical streets where the bitter winds blow. I'm a fragment of someone I used to recognize, with a raw Naples winter behind my own eyes. The salvation was just the final stage of the fall, a sophisticated way to lose nothing at all. The demolition is finished, the contours are gone, in the red jagged light of a Mediterranean dawn. The apartment is a furnace of brevity and truth, burning through the lives of my stolen youth. I see the oppression in the tilt of his head, in the clinical way that the rescue was fed. He never wanted a woman, he wanted a frame to house the cold power of his own gilded name. The apartment is a furnace, of plebeian truth, burning through the lives of my stolen youth. I see the oppression in the tilt of his head, in the clinical way that the rescue was fed. He never wanted a woman, he wanted a frame to house the cold power of his own gilded name. The scandal was a jewel that I wore on my chest, until the boredom of the audience put the beauty to test. I was a fallen aristocrat, a ruin in lace, searching for the theater in a new pretty face. I took the curiosity of a muse for a sign that the tragedy of the spirit was a vintage of wine. I turned my blind following into an exquisite act in a cynical